Well, game 1 goes the way of Barrage. Game 2 is underway now. Excellent. Maybe they can do something else here, because now they're going to be looking towards potentially like just dealing with the rest of the season, learning strategies, getting used to actually having their new member of the team. I guess DineOhSaw came in as a sub here, but he's done pretty well.
And I love their play throughout the split. They struggled a little bit against Rival earlier on, but every time they played against Rival, they kept getting better and better. They were able to split against Barrage in the earlier 2 sets throughout the split. They could still potentially find the split here. So it's not the fact of the matter that they're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. They can easily get these wins.
Well, they're competing against the top 2. That's the big thing with Barrage here. They've managed to break the top 2, find wins against them, but they need to do it more consistently to be able to have a shot at breaking into the top 2 completely against the Europeans. Odin banned out by Barrage again, and Barrage being first pick this time around one more time. I think we're just going to see a very, very similar strategy, although Excellent's going to ban out Raijin here.
So the issue was Barrage, they banned Odin, and then they first picked out Kuang. Excellent should have realized that the strategy for Barrage was to eventually pick up that Guan Yu on the support or solo laner, and maybe Excellent should have picked up the Guan Yu instead of, I think it was...
I cannot remember what. I can't remember exactly what they picked. They picked Raijin, and I believe the other pick was... What was it?
I want to say Nemesis.
Was it Nemesis that early? No, Nemesis was the 3rd pick.
Was it Bacchus?
It was Bacchus.
It was Bacchus Raijin, yeah.
Bacchus
They're trying to
Raijin.
go for that bursty comp.
It's going to be Ao Kuang again for Barrage. This time, though, Excellence will answer back. Will they give away the Guan Yu? I suspect not. Maybe Guan Yu Bacchus here? They've banned out Raijin.
It would make sense. Those are really good aggressive all-in gods that you have Bacchus and Guan Yu. The belly flop, the cavalry charge.
Yeah.
It's hard to get away from that, unless you have a Giannis to use through space and time to get away.
That'd be a Thor instead of the Guan Yu, which allows Barrage to pick up that Guan Yu again if they so choose. They did it at this stage last time round. And with the Thor in the jungle, a little bit more control coming out from a Thor here. A little bit more early game focus than what Lycan played last game on that Nemesis.
I don't really like the Thor pick at this stage of the picks and bans phase, because Barrage already have their Ao Kuang, which is more than likely going onto Proxy. So Excellence could have held onto their Thor pick in the next game. And now, because Barrage secured their spawn to land, it seems they're kind of pulling out some strategies that are a little bit less traditional.
Experimentation phase now, isn't it?
Sure.
It's like we can have a little bit of fun with this year. I mean, you guys have probably done this before, right? When
Yes.
Early rounds of Challenger Cup and things like that, when you were getting into the Pro League, you guys probably pulled out a few odd strategies in your days.
We've done some stuff where we didn't want to reveal our cards, and that's what helped us out a lot in many situations, and that's a good idea by Barrage as well, as they have already secured their spot into land. They don't want to reveal too many of their high-end strategies, so they're just holding off a little bit.
And if they can show they can perform on these gods too, it will put fear in the back of the minds
Sure.
of some of the others about, well, maybe we ban that Cupid because he played it once. He was really good on it.
And it's not just Barrage that played Cupid. In North America, there are a lot of teams that are playing the Cupid.
At the moment, that Cripple and the Heart Bomb, just so much damage coming out from those abilities. Kabrak and Tyr again from Barrage, so no real switch up in their bans. Meanwhile, Excellence, same sort of thing. They do ban the Neath this time round, though. They don't want to have to deal with that in the mid lane from Elexum.
The Neath for Barrage in the last game was just so strong, not only in terms of being able to control like the mid laning phase, but the side lanes always had to watch out for that World Weaver. They found an early kill onto Sun Wukong and then immediately on the dual lane as well.
Well, very interesting from Excellence here. I think they're going for a bit of an interesting one as well. Agni back in the mix. We've not seen Agni in a little while just lately. Agni at one point in time was considered the point of balance for a mid laner in terms of aggression, defense, opportunistic, and damage dealing. Just all around perfect. However, these days, not so much.
No, we haven't seen Agni a lot, but it'll synergize very beautifully with Thor, because the time it takes for the bomb stun to connect for Agni, the Tectonic Rift could set that up, and there's going to be a lot of follow-up damage with the double tap. So Excellence could potentially find some good long-range poke around corners, especially because both of those two gods' abilities can go through walls very easily.
And a Loki as well against the Chaac for the solo lane is what I'm expecting to see here as well. Fafnir Cupid lane up against Sol Bacchus. Definitely an interesting one there. And then Loki versus Chaac. Well, Loki doesn't get seen too much these days. He's the split push god, but against the Chaac, he's going to be sat under his tower for the first 7 to 12 waves.
And if I'm Chaac here, I would just pick up Mystical Mail and never leave my solo lane, because you don't want to allow this Loki to ever split push, and if he goes stealth, you'll see him with the Mystical Mail ticks and you can chase him down.
So you just pick Mystical Mail and run at Loki over and over again. Is that generally what the idea is here?
Yeah, you just run at Loki, and these two teams showing a lot of respect for each other. They know that, you know, Excellence are out of the land contentions and Barrage have secured their spot. So now this is kind of a celebration for both teams.
Well, the problem is like I already see for Predators here. Gone for the Loki, gone Transcendence, which is fine. However, he's gone Wrath. Now, the Wrath is really going to hurt Loki if he gets behind in the lane. No teleport to be able to rotate around the map, split push, and also Purification, very, very useful for a Loki too. They're the general two you always really want.
Yeah, you want to be able to find the team fighting relics, especially for Loki. You want to have the Purification and maybe even a Frenzy to get towers or Phoenixes in the late game. However, having the Wrath is going to allow him to also make sure that Watson isn't going to be able to invade his blue, because early laning phase, Chaac will control that. And at level 6 or so, once the blue buff respawns, that's probably what Watson's going to try to do.
It's a good point, actually, as well. Don't forget, with that Wrath, he can look to invade, and that's what he's going to do here. Cheeky, Loki. Going to come in and Wrath it and try and vanish away. And he gets away scot-free. Nice little steal away there from Predators, showing why you take Wrath on Loki.
And now Thor picking it up, looking to potentially steal this yet again. The double tap, not able to confirm it. And this would be a nice situation for them to look for a team fight, because you have the speed buff onto Thor. Why not go for this team fight?
Now, Predators has made a bit of a mistake there. By taking Vanish as well to get away from that, he's now got no wave clear with the decoy available to help clear this out early. So he's going to have to rely on Lycan helping him out now. But the problem is a Barrage will clear this and could look to just steal away the buffs that he's just tried to steal themselves.
Exactly. And by having the stealth, you could have been looking for that team fight. You could have done a lot of damage.
And now Elexum going to rotate over with the Vulcan too, just to apply some extra pressure, confirm these buffs completely. And this start by Excellence is now going to be punished heavily by Barrage with the blue buff being taken away. They can now look at the speed, and I don't think Thor can stop this alone.
Now, the only issue, though, is they're giving up a mid-wave in the process. Both of these mid-harpies are up, so at least the Thor and the Agni are rotating over that, as long as we do have Barrage securing themselves the Fire Giant Elementals.
Yeah, they're going to get the right on Harpies here as well, Excellence, which isn't too bad for them. Swing back to mid lane. Proxy will pick up that wave just for level 3, at least a couple of creeps of it, and now the mid laners junglers meet for the first time.
In the early game, it's going to be very difficult for Farleez to really confirm a lot of damage. You don't really want to use your dash aggressively unless it's guaranteed to find a kill, so a little bit of an advantage for Barrage.
Left Harpy's being looked at now by Barrage. Duo lane, though, a lot of aggression coming out from Awe on this Fafnir, up against DineOhSaw's Bacchus, who had such a good game. You can actually see Jeron's health there. Both of these Hunters under a lot of pressure.
We haven't really talked about this duo lane from Barrage, but they both have sustain in the Heart and the Steroid coming out of Awe.
Very, very good point. They both have sustain for each other as well as themselves. On top of that, the Heart Bomb Hammer Throw combination can be quite strong too, just to be able to secure some extra damage.
Gonna find the slow into a secondary stun after the Fafnir stun. Gonna get knocked up is Jeron, and gonna find some return poke as there's a nice body block and forcing the shell out of DineOhSaw just to be able to survive a little bit longer. The Hearts comes out as Awe just absorbing a lot of damage. He still has 3 archers as they finally fall.
Well, he's under still a lot more pressure here, and actually that stun just helped him out a little bit, and now the flop is there. And this time round, though, I think we've seen a little bit more confidence out of DineOhSaw in this laning phase here. We saw game 1, he was very, very passive, took a lot of free poke. This time, more aggressive, hitting those marks with those flops, a little bit more confident there, and actually allowing HerpTheDerp to secure that kill.
And Farleez taking a lot of poke, forced to dash away. Meanwhile, on the solo side,
Loki. Watson
is level 5. Predator is level 4, does not have the ultimate to escape. So Watson, if he did level up that ultimate, he could easily commit to this kill if he lands his next axe.
Well, he's got no great ultimate now because he's on level 6. He's already got it down for 60 seconds, so he's already used it on Predators a little bit more. Just going to keep bullying Loki some more. And there's Loki wanting to back because he's out of mana. But guess what? He doesn't have teleport, so it makes it very difficult decision-making.
And this is going to be the issue in the rest of the laning phase. Watson going to make the rotation to these elementals, and he's just going to walk back into the solo lane and continue on his aggression. He doesn't have the same problem that Loki does because of his passive. Once you have those 5 stacks available, your next ability cast is going to be free, so you're never leading the laning phase.
Would you pick Loki into Chaac?
No.
Ever?
No.
Never?
Not unless I want to concede my jungle, my solo lane tower.
What if you were trolling me in ranked, would you do it?
If I was against you, I would pick Loki.
Really?
To Chaac, yes.
Against me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't play Chaac, though.
What would you play?
Bacchus. You may. I do Ymir against you. Well, Predator's going to go down for the first kill of the side of Barrage there over to Proxy, and that's kind of what happens when you play the Loki against a Chaac and an Kuang with no purification or teleport available to you. You end up sticking around a little bit too long. Excellent. Found the first kill on Bacchus, though.
The issue with Loki in the solo lane at this meta currently is you're too weak early on, and as a result, you're going to get constantly bullied out, and you lose your buffs, You get ganked easily, so you have to find ways to counteract that. Now, Predators going for the Wrath was an interesting style with the Invade, but because they didn't teamfight after the speed buff Invade, that could have been the snowball that he needed to transition out of the early laning phase.
That's true. I mean, what we could have actually seen coming out from Excellence is not just Loki going in for that Invade on the speed, which was successful. They could have sent Thor too. Thor's very good at the 2v2 fight at the start of a Power Pop Berserker Barrage. They could have Raft, stole the buff at the same time as fought both of them, because the stun would have gone through too.
And the passive coming out of the Thor would give him more physical power. As the longer the team fight lasts, the more favorable it would have been for Excellence. Loki having stealth the damage over time, they could have committed to that one target, especially if they find an early kill. Onto now Kuang that had Purple Pod that doesn't have an escape at level 1.
You mentioned early kill. Early Gold Fury being started up here by Barrage. Wrath not available for either team. Actually say that Fafnir's got a Wrath, but a good flop again coming out. All's going to have to leap away from the danger zone. You saw there's still a burst drop down there as well. Vulcan all connects onto HerpTheDerp as well, but it's not enough to secure the kill. They're still pulling this though, Excellence, because they've got rotations coming in from the mid and the jungler.
It was a nice attempt by Elexum, but a more beautiful disengage coming out of Excellence. So Gold Fury going on the favor of Excellence after finally the dance finishes off with Thor into the sky, looking for a potential pick, but not in range to land.
Not in range to land on either of them, unfortunately. Elexum was definitely a prime target with that low of a mana pool as well. Watson over on the right side going to continue farming up against Predators, and Predators starting to find his stride now on the Loki, because obviously Transcendence is stacking. The decoy will be doing a little bit more damage now, and the split push, the proxy farm, can begin.
The issue was the fact that Predators was able to steal away the blue buff from Predators. So, I'm sorry, Watson was able to steal the blue buff from Predators. So, as a result, now he's going to control the laning phase that much harder. Even though the Transcendence is online for Loki, he is level 7. He'll be able to clear their archers, but the melee minions are going to be the problem. He's still going to lose that gold if Watson continues to hug the tower line.
And the funny thing is, the longer this game goes on, Loki can proxy farm and prOxyQQ farm.
That's true.
He can farm prOxyQQ.
You don't want to be able to proxy farm while the Gold Fury's down. You want to do that to try to bait people coming into your solo lane, so that way they overextend, and then your team is the one that's going to be able to sneak Gold Fury when they're trying to gank you and kill you.
Well, 6 minutes in, 1-1, one Gold Fury down, and we tune in with Awe here with the Traveler Shoes online as well for the gold generation and that mobility with the Watcher's Gift too. Working for some magical resistance here as well. A little bit worried about Agni and Sol, the two major damage dealers of this team.
The later this game goes, the Agni will do a lot of damage. Already finishing off the Chronos Pendant right away, skipping out onto Shoes completely.
Well, speed buff stolen by Predators, and he's trying to run through the jungle to safety. Meatball off the mark, and Predators maybe have to escape here, but Proxy giving chase with the illusion, going to force the armor from Predators there as well. Predators with a good invade on his own, and still under pressure. They're looking to try and answer back. prOxyQQ is not happy.
This is what Barrage needs to do after they lose their speed, but they have to counter invade, right? And then on top of that, they're forcing the Loki out, because now he doesn't have teleport like we see with him having Wrath, so he loses a whole wave under tower. He's currently level 8 compared to Chaac's level 10.
Well, the funny thing is the aggression in the jungle here onto Awe. Good flop comes out, but still the Dragon will be initiated there from Awe to reduce the damage done. And now Watson rotating in as well, looking for the pick on Lycan. Big ultimate coming out from Vulcan. Doesn't really connect, however, as prOxyQQ tries to return some damage, but meets into Agni.
Both teams just kind of resetting. However, Thor does find the land onto Proxy, but he took a lot of poke in return as Watson's trying to find the axe, but with the speed buff onto Lycan, there's just no way to really get in position unless he's about to tank some tower shots.
He looks like he's going to. He's going to go all the way deep in there. Predators, meanwhile, going to farm the back for some reason, are looking for a kill in mid lane. Actually, Thor will get away. Watson not going to chase all the way in there, but Predators decides farming the enemy jungle more important than trying to farm out the lane.
This is beautiful because he knows he can't really go into the lane with this low health, and if he goes back to heal up, he's going to lose another wave anyway. So by stripping away the jungle from Barrage, this allows him to still find the farm, and it doesn't allow Watson or Proxy to find more farm for themselves.
So steals speed, steals blue now as well, and we'll be back in tower range to be actually soak up some of this experience as well. So far, so good. The funny thing is about Excellence here, the longer this game looks a little bit better from them, and I think it's because there's no pressure anymore. They're already out, so they're like, hey guys, we're already out, let's just have fun. And by having fun, you actually play better sometimes.
Sometimes you do make the plays that you need to. Like you have nothing to really lose. You're like, let's see what happens at this phase. You know, like as long as you're grouped up, you're not thinking about what could possibly go wrong.
I'll tell you what could go wrong here is Proxy could actually meet him in the jungle, but Predators choose the correct option here. Getting some support coming out from Awe, but no, not getting support from Awe. I'm lying, that was not his teammate. Hammer of Justice connects, and Watson secures the kill.
And that's going to allow Watson to keep on farming, and without any teleport, this next wave is is going to get denied as well. Beautiful wall out of Lycan.
Nice wall, but he's not going to stop anything because sadly those minions were still tanking.
He's just doing
up
it because
a
he
couple.
can.
Just for the sake of it?
Yeah, it's like I'm Thor.
I'm Thor, I throw out a wall.
Look at
Why
my
not?
wall.
What's the worst that could happen?
It's amazing.
Look at my wall. My wall is amazing. Did you give it a lick?
Not with
Have you ever
those,
licked your
those
mail wall?
spikes on the side.
No?
It does not taste
Would
like
you lick
raisins.
your mail wall though? That hurt.
No, then you like you
Tongue
get your
freeze?
tongue with stuck onto the wall.
And then
No.
when the wall disperses and goes down, your tongue will go with it.
Oh no.
That'd be painful. Belch comes out from Bacchus there. Watson still not too worried about anybody coming to this lane. He is Chaac after all, and Chaac with basically working on Breastplate of Valor here. I don't think anybody on this team can really hurt him at this stage.
At this phase, you're 3 levels ahead of the jungler, so you could easily just
Ouch.
walk on over to the jungle side, trying to contest a speed buff.
You can, and that's what he's going to do. Totally, it's like you played solo lane before.
It's as if I might have played this position of the map.
Have you played much Chaac before?
I played a decent amount of Shock.
What's your favorite solo laner that you've ever played that was ever actually viable?
I mean, I guess.
don't
Well, old magical Guan Yu.
No. Okay, don't go that far back. A little bit more sooner, because Guan Yu was OP.
So like season 2, season 3
Yeah, season
style.
2, season 3.
I'd still say physical Guan Yu would be my favorite.
Good response from Predators there with the ultimate to get away from the ultimate coming out from Proxy, and Proxy actually ult away to try and get away from the collapsing DineOhSaw there, but DineOhSaw now under pressure by 2, going to get slowed down, but he's so tanky, he's not too worried just yet.
There's just not too much damage online from Barrage to confirm the kill. DineOhSaw using the belly flap was just out of range from Proxy. Predators might be looking for the kill onto Proxy, but no, he's just going to use the decoy to tag the wave and then reset. The blue buff has respawned. The Wrath is available, so should be finally going in the way of excellence.
I will say Predators plays this pretty dangerously. He weaves in and out of some abilities that you wouldn't really want to risk most of the time. But
Well,
we get the benefit of like seeing it from above though, right?
Well, the thing is, it lasts quite a while, so you know your timing window, and it also gives you increased movement speed to be able to get in position and to disengage at the same time. And realistically, it's very difficult to really know what direction the Loki is going to. It's a bit of a guessing game, and if you want to waste your abilities trying to find this Loki, then that's going to allow Excellence to maybe jump on that.
Well, player damage-wise, they're all pretty even apart from Watson out in front by a mile right now. Over 3,000 damage more than anybody else. But he is against a Loki, and Loki's doing what he can to just continue stealing away buffs over and over again and be that nuisance that he brings to the
That's
table.
what you have to do, and that's going to allow Excellence to force this Gold Fury, Cupid ult, and Vulcan ult. And there's nowhere for Lycan to go. He got crippled. DineOhSaw still mesmerized, and prOxyQQ going to find the secondary kill. Gold Fury was reset onto Barrage, and they're going to be the ones to confirm it.
They do, and now look at this. HerpTheDerp going in on the Soul, but now she's surrounded because Watson's rotated. Predators goes for the ult, doesn't find it, but he still picks up Jeron. HerpTheDerp 3v1 right now, trying to do what he can, but gets silenced out, and the acid spray from the dragon is good enough, or secures himself a kill.
3 for 1, and Gold Fury going on the favor of Barrage. Going to try to find Farleez, but with the dash away, just going to reset. Left side mid Harpies are still available, but it looks like Barrage, they're all grouped up in the mid lane, but not wanting to push this tower.
Well, Predators did actually pick up a kill there, but he wasn't able to find anything else, sadly enough. He would have liked to try and get a tower or even a little bit more, but just couldn't find enough. Blink online as well for Predators. Very, very interesting to see that with no purification as well. If he gets CC'd at all, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Farleez trying to do a lot of damage onto the mid laner, not going to really find the kill there, but going to force him to kind of reset. If that Vulcan meatball hit, that probably would have been a kill if he landed his first ability.
Well, if he was facing the right way, he was moonwalking.
True,
If
he was going
you
to
try
go
and
backwards.
moonwalk and throw a meatball, it's not going to work out that well.
Not at all. Still Predators finding the farm that he needs to at this phase. He finally transitions away from the early laning phase. Now, like you mentioned, he did pick up the blink, so he's trying to initiate or to disengage because the stealth will buy you enough time to get out of combat, and then you have that secondary escape.
Very, very true. Well, he's going to meet Proxy now, so he's going to be very careful about what he's going to choose to do here. Take some free poke, and actually the illusion started. He's actually going to trade with Proxy here between the two, but the Dragon King winning this trade for a moment, but not long enough. And Proxy 1v1 solo by a Loki, not a shock. The assassin showing what he can do, and there's the blink for why it works.
Both of these assassins goes in the favor of the Loki currently up until the Kuang has some items. All you really need in the early mid laning phase is this Transcendence Tabby in order to find some early kills. Even like one defensive item is not enough to really deal with the amount of burst damage that a Loki can bring to you.
Oh, gank in the mid lane from Lycan there. Didn't actually find the mark he was after, which was the Vulcan. Elexum there just out of position and got away safely, but Predator's still hanging around here at the speed buff. Not been spotted just yet, but Tricky, tricky Loki, still doing Loki things. He will be hurt if he vanishes, and I think he realizes, oh no, he's going to go for this. He actually moved away. Notice how he moves there, just to make sure the sound isn't in range, but he's still surrounded. He's going to get the speed and run for his life.
He has the speed buff, so it's going to be very difficult to lock him down. Chaac, on the meanwhile, was proxying earlier on. Nice purification from Lycan just to disengage from that Cupid ulti with a dash as well. Watson making the rotation. Farleez could be in a little bit of trouble.
He's under a lot of pressure now, especially with the rain down as well, but we can see Jeron secure the kill. Now they're looking for Lycan too, and with the double tap down, he will be secured by Elexum with the backfire there, and now Barrage can finally group up in mid lane and look for some pressure on this tier 1 as they're still looking for more kills.
Bacchus going to belly flop away from the stun. 2-0 currently for Barrage. They finally get this tier 1 tower as well. The rotation has been made from Predators, but he's not going to be able to really do much as he falls as well.
He went all in on Cupid there, but Cupid's Sanctuary just at the right time. Minion wave still coming from Barrage, so they could look for the tower in the mid lane too, but they're a little bit low on minions, so they're going to have to watch themselves a little bit against Herp, who gets half health there by Elexum in that backfire.
Proxy disengaging, perfectly timed away from that Stellar Burst. Just going to reset. Not really much to take away, but Watson is going to look for that blue buff, trying to take that away from Predators.
Why not just keep trying to strip a little bit more? Actually, no, he's not going to take the blue. He's going to go back to farming. He knows it's available right now, but I think he'd rather just secure his own. Watson clearing out the wave, level 17 online for himself, 7.9k in damage. And you can see HerpTheDerp starting to catch him now at 6.1 on the Soul.
Yeah, that was a huge wave coming for the Chaac that he wanted to grab. That was about 2 waves there. There's about 6 archers.
Good stun coming out there as well from Farleez on the Agni. And for the Agni game, not too bad so far. I mean, Agni's something we've not seen for a little while. We mentioned that too. Went for the actual pick of a Chronos Pendant here for extra cooldown reduction. We could have seen some damage coming out. Bancrofts was one of the chorus items actually on an Agni at one point in time.
Well, the whole idea behind Chronos Pendant on this Agni is you want to try to synergize and follow up off of the Thor rotation, and anytime he's going to stun, you got to keep up with those cooldowns because obviously Tectonic Rift is much shorter than a single bomb, and that's what you're going to need to use during every single Tectonic Rift. So by resetting those as often as possible, you're constantly looking for that poke. But unfortunately for Excellence, it just doesn't seem that they're in position to utilize that combination onto the Vulcan.
Well, all looking for some aggression on that left-hand side there onto Sol. Meanwhile, Loki continuing to proxy farm as per usual. Predator's just doing what he can as Thor ganks mid lane there. Lycan off the mark finding it. However, Jeron, well, he's on the mark with a couple of those shots there, and you can see him actually disengage from Herb when he tries to return pressure.
Herb has to be careful about standing too close to those archers. Once the heart bomb hits the archer and it kills it, then you're going to eat that AoE damage, and that's something that Herb has to respect a little bit further away from position.
And generally, that's good. Cupid players will abuse that more often than not, right? When the minion health's low and you'll heart bomb the minion just to secure the stun. Doesn't happen too much, but now and again, the better players will know how to do that with the Cupid.
It's all about min-maxing any sort of damage that you can do, and obviously if Soul's going to stand behind the archer so that the in-hands aren't going to hit, you can still hit them with the heart bomb as long as you find the kill onto that one archer. Elexum going to get forced out using Purification and the Sanctuary.
He does get both, and actually I was looking at Watson there as he made a big rotation to the left-hand side for this Gold Fury on the Chaac. Mystical Mail is online for him, so now Predator's going to have to recognize that. And you can see Predators trying to be annoying as usual, and proxy farm potentially 2 waves here mid and the right-hand side. Going to return back to the right and find the speed buff one more time. prOxyQQ won't be happy about it, but I'll tell you what he will be happy about is the team is doing Gold Fury. And I don't think there's going to be much contest from Excellence.
You do have rotation from HerpTheDerp. You're going to use the Supernova. Cupid Ultimate was used as well, and it looks like Excellence. Did Excellence steal it?
I think Excellence did steal that one away, actually. Can we just go to the grass? Thor's in the sky at the same time, though. And he actually, no, he went the way of Barrage, that Gold Fury, but Elexum's still in the sky. Looking for aggression, I should say, from Lycan. But what's he going to turn it around with a very big silence coming out as well as all with the stun. And it's actually Lycan under pressure. The Dragon, so the ult from Elexum does connect and secure 1 kill. Proxy's looking for the pick as well on the backside, and Bacchus. Meanwhile, Watson takes out Farleez. It's always trying to trade off with HerpTheDerp, and HerpTheDerp will actually beat down the Dragon.
There's finally finding the return kill, so it's going to be a 3-for-1 Gold Fury going into the way of Barrage, and now tier 2 tower finally going down. Beautiful split push out of Predators, and now Watson forced to use the meditation just to be able to survive, and finally Predators is in a good position where he's going to be able to box Watson.
But he's a Mystical Mail online as well for Watson here, so he's going to be able to follow the tracking of Predators here. Meanwhile, his team are getting the tier 2 tower in mid lane here at the same time, so Excellence gets a tier 2 right. Barrage answer back immediately in the mid wave.
And with the Gold Fury and trading off the tier 2 towers, Barrage secured themselves about a 4,000 gold lead experience-wise. They're up about 4.5 as well, so they could still force out these team fights. They have double sustain coming out of the Fafnir and the Cupid, some self-sustain coming out of Watson, so they have some tools to make these team fights last a while.
Yeah, they're very, very burst-heavy, both these compositions, so it could go back and forth. I mean, 4K is not big enough to write home about right now at 18 minutes in. If it was like the 7-minute mark, yeah, okay. But this stage, especially with a Loki on the side, and the Sol and an Agni, there's a lot of pressure that can come out and a lot of damage potential too. Meanwhile, though, Cupid has met Loki, and Loki's meeting his maker. Oh, maybe not, maybe not. The escape will be on from the ultimate and the vanish just to get away in time. Jeron will be disappointed he didn't pick up the kill, but he'd be happy that he forced so much out from the solo laner.
I was about to make a reference about the cooldowns, but both of them having the Jotun's Wrath, as Watson's going to get engaged on quite heavily, forced to use his ultimate for the damage mitigation, just going to be able to barely escape that.
I don't like the idea there, but look at that. Farleez swings around left to defend against Jeron, and Jeron basically took on the mid laner and the solo laner one after the other and found a kill on one of them.
You have to be so careful with your positioning and your rotations, because if you get caught making the rotation going underneath instead of between tier 1 and tier 2, then you're going to eat the ultimate price.
Jeron trying to be the hero we need, and the meatball connects as well, which is perfect. One more hit will be enough. Can he find it in stealth? No, he's not going to find it. Trade-off happens. Predators answers back, realizing he can trade at least if he's going to go down.
Beautiful play and mindset from Predators, just knowing his damage output during the stealth and popping that strike as well. Just getting the kill confirmed. Just unfortunate, if he was able to have a little bit more health there and survive that one in hand, then that would have been a beautiful escape because the blink was online as well.
Well, while that's all happening, Elexum is trying to siege up this tier 1 town on the left-hand side. He's got a minion wave coming right now, but HerpTheDerp on the way to defend one more time. He should be able to poke it down relatively well. He may even find it here if he decides to commit fully for it. Full minion wave in range. Stellar Burst will take out the archers, but not enough of the melee. Tower still stands, but Watson's on his way as well now.
And now HerpTheDerp, the sap rate is down, and Watson is making the rotation. Going to find the slow onto Herp. Stellar Burst off the mark. Going to get knocked up. Purification not in time quite yet. Watson's still in time, and that's going to confirm the kill with the axe. The sap rate was not in time.
And you saw Farleez on the Agni trying to swing into the jungle there to support over the wall, but wasn't in range at the time. Proxy under pressure here as well. Going to get flopped on, intoxicated too. Proxy returning some damage, but there's the cleanup crew coming through to try and secure him. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, Farleez forced out by Watson. You can see the Hammer Man in awe has now turned up. The dwarf is here looking for Loki.
Not going to find the kill as a Purification and the Sanctuary was used, as it looks like Elexum trying to burn some trees on the backhand side. Meatball off the mark. Predator's trying to run around in circles, but it's going to be difficult as the slow is just too strong. That's going to confirm the kill. 3 onto 1, finally finding Predators.
Elexum did a good job trying to bait there as well, just juking in and out, using the backfire to his ability to allow his teammates to collapse. This fight's still going on from Barrage on this left-hand side. Being aggressed on again is Elexum. He's been left alone against Lycan, and Lycan with the in-hand should be able to bring him down as well. One more hit will be enough. Going to have to use the double tap and also disengage from that. Cupid, though, on the right-hand side, Jeron will pick up a tier 2 tower and then look to back. So this match is getting a little bit out of hand in terms of all the rotations and random sporadic fights going on.
Just beautiful map presence from Barrage, able to get this towers that's so important. Even though right went down earlier for them, they were able to find the mid in response as the belly fly was just off the mark. Beautiful disengage from Lycan.
And HerpTheDerp is back, going to zone him out with the Stellar Burst one more time. Trying to close the distance a little bit here, looking for Orr, but Orr's not too worried yet at the moment. It's mainly Lycan's just trying to clear out the creeps.
Just trying to find Lycan under the tier 2 tower, being a big bully. Level 20 Chaac with sustain. You do have Awe right behind you for a little bit of healing, forcing the purification just to double tap away beautifully. Watson not finding the kill, but going to force out the Thor. Might find the tier 2 tower.
And they're having a few issues with this Chaac right now. Sanctuary is forced on HerpTheDerp there because of the Fields of Love coming out too. And now the support of DineOhSaw is here, but is it enough to stop them from going all in? It doesn't look like it. They're still looking for this tower with the minion wave here. HerpTheDerp forced back one more time, and tier 2 falls.
Tier 2 finally falling. Watson going to disengage away from Farleez. Farleez currently level 16, does have Doom Orb, trying to finish off that Obsidian Shard, and it's this teamfight presence from Barrage is just too strong currently to deal with from Excellence. Now, Excellence is down about 9,000 gold, and coming up with this gold fear, they're just not in position to stop this at all.
I think the biggest problem I'm seeing out of Excellence now is that they're taking the fights all the time in Barrage, but the difference is Barrage are taking it in turns to farm at the same time. So that's why you see so many level 20s on the side, is that some of them won't be in the fight. They'll go off and farm, hit level 20, and be like, okay, I can fight all day now because I'm pretty much full build.
That's like we mentioned with Jeroen finding the tier 2 solo tower was just well timed for him. as well as the farm that he got along the way. Currently 5-2 and 3 score line is just a big factor. Also with a cripple, it was a lot of team fighting presence. Just difficult for them to really get away.
You can see the Cupid build from Jeron here, just going for full penetration pretty much here, having a bit of fun. Jotun's Wrath as well as Void Shield as well. Fire Giant started up by Excellence, the last ditch of a desperate team looking for a win, and instead it looks like they may find themselves just another loss here. Fire Giant actually goes the way of Barrage, as I saw coming. Jeron gets the kill onto DineOhSaw there, who's going to fall down, and now they're looking for Lycan, who gets a very good wall off, and he's actually going to block out the whole team.
I'm really surprised Barrage were able to confirm that, because Predators was there in range for that Wrath confirmed kill. It's a pretty nice execute onto objectives. It is about 1250 damage on that side, so a little bit off the mark, and now that's going to give Barrage the Fire Giant, and it should give them this right side Phoenix for free.
Ball's going to tank this one up for his team, but Jeron took a lot of free poke there coming out. Nice work from HerpTheDerp on defense, but it's not going to be enough, and now he's going to walk into prOxyQQ too. Can't find the last in hand for the kill. Proxy will, however, and now he can turn his attention to Lycan, who has to disengage. Dot damage is on him, but Lycan running for his life right now. Bombs rain down from Farleez, just a little off the mark, or still trying to tank up, and the burst is just so good from the trio.
And now with that pick, the right side Phoenix falling as well, despite forcing out Jeroen, not having the objective damage. That pick was so important. Nice Sanctuary,
Proxy!
but the Phoenix shot, so unfortunate. Using the Water Illusion just in range for that Phoenix shot.
Tries to disengage and instead engages in. Defense from Excellence is here though. They're looking to try and return some kills, but instead Predators can't catch Elexum at the moment as he's spinning to win to try and fight him. And talk about spins, Lycan, he gets away. What the hell was that?
He blinked.
Was that was a perfect blink
from
that was
a
hype.
Thor.
That was, why can Excellence not play this every single week, man? Because like they showed some really cool stuff in this game.
Some fancy schmancy plays coming out of both teams. Predators does fall as Jeroen is trying to push up the mid lane to allow the minion wave to get there. And with that, it looks like Elexum trying to escape. Cupid makes the rotation. Lycan barely able to escape.
He does get out before he had a heart bomb, and instead he goes back in though, and that's going to spell his demise. Watson was there, and I think that was Mystical Mail more than anything else that picked up the kill. Now Phoenix in mid lane being looked at here as well, and a surrender vote comes out from Excellence here. Barrage will 2-0 and secure themselves the #1 spot for now.
For now. And Rival, they're going to face off against Excel in this next set. Currently, they're also secured into the SCL Summer Split land, but their seeding is still up for contention.
Okay, so go back to that game for me. Game 1, obviously, Barrage did very, very well in it. Game 2 was a little bit more fun from both the two teams there, so some oddball picks that we've not seen through the league so far. What are we looking for from Excellence going forward, though? I mean, we've seen them this year. They've done okay. They've got 7 and 9 on records now, as you can see in the standings. What is it that Excellence need to work on most totally for next split?
They just need to be more cohesive as a team and a unit. They have the strategies that they've executed, whether it's early game or mid game. They just sometimes, I saw on the earlier side of the split, sometimes they don't group up after they get those picks. Sometimes they don't get the towers that they need to. There's one game I'm recalling where they had 4 members in mid lane, and instead of getting the tier 1 tower, they all just went back to farming when they had only one person to contest that tier 1 mid tower. So they just have to make the right objective plays after finding the picks.
Well, they've got everything else going for them, but at the moment they will be around 3rd position here, I believe, with that one. However, Jeron had a pretty good set for himself in both sets. Well, it was like both sets, yeah. He had both games. He had very, very good plays on both Freya and the Cupid.
Which is really also important for the Hunter out of Barrage. However, that was allowed by Proxy. He was he was the one that was able to really allow the Hunter to go off in the game.
Yeah, Proxy was basically played Kuang both games and did what he needed to. For most of game 1, which we see here, he was just cleanup crew more often than not. The rest of the team did the work, and he just came in and went, well, I'll ult you, and guess what? There's another free target at the back, and I'll take you too.
And that's exactly what happened in this little engagement here. And afterwards, Proxy just kept doing the damage. But even though the front line from Barrage got them distracted to the point where every single damage from Proxy and from Jeroen allowed these easy executes, especially onto DineOhSaw.
Yeah, just keep going in all the time. And the worst thing about this Kuang is once he gets the 1 kill, he sits up there for so long just looking at his next option of where he can go in for. And you have to expect him to come down if you're low health, because that's what he's going to do.
And Jeroen, he was doing a lot of damage as well with the Cupid, with the Freya, and he was able to find the 1v1s, the rotation, for the aggressive rotation coming out of Farleez. He was just too under-leveled currently. That was a level 18 at the time, Cupid leveling up to 19 after the solo kill.
Painful and unfortunate for them, but Barrage, like I said, they secure themselves for the LAN now. And now, next up, after the short break, we'll be seeing Rival up against Excel. Excel still looking for their first win.
Can it happen?
Can it happen? We'll find out after this short break. or soon after this short break. I should say, my bad. I apologize. Production was not ready. I'm an idiot. However, XL versus Rival. Rival. Obviously, they've looked pretty good this far. They've only really dropped games against Barrage and 1 or 2 against Excellence.
That's their one strength, that they've only lost 1 game to Excellence. Their only real competition going into the LAN is obviously Barrage. So they need to figure out a way for next week of like what they really want to do and execute, because they both really confirmed into the LAN. So do you pull out your ace in the sleeve or do you hold off?
That's more of a question to you, because I guess we saw the same from Barrage there as well. Barrage, obviously, in Game 2, they had a lot more fun. Rival, obviously, they could do the same thing here. We may see some more... What would you like to see?
Out of Rival versus Barrage, that should be a really interesting set regardless, because they're both highly... good teams in the European SCL. But I would like to see them both kind of have fun with it.
Both kind of have fun. Well, XL versus Rival will be next up on the screens after this short break.